Hello and welcome to Heartland Cattle Call, your all-access pass to everything Limousin in the Heartland. Whether you're in the sale ring, the show ring, or out in the pastures, we've got you covered. Each episode we bring you exclusive auction previews, market trends, and top-selling cattle straight from the sale ring. But that's not all. We'll also take you inside the biggest Heartland events, showcase top breeders and exhibitors, and break down the latest show results. From production sales to champion ribbons, we're talking with the people who make the industry thrive. Buyers, sellers, ranchers, and showmen who are shaping the future of Limousin cattle. So whether you're looking to invest in lead genetics, sharpen your showmanship skills, or just stay ahead in the business, you're in the right place. Get ready. It's time for Heartland Cattle Call. Hi y'all, we are here with another episode of the Heartland Cattle Call podcast, and I am very excited about our guest we have on today. We have Miss Williamson-Anglani, and she is from Cedar Creek Ranch out in Thornfield, Missouri. And she is also on the board of the Fullblood Limousin Alliance. And Betty, thanks for jumping on here today.
My pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your ranch and how you got your start and became so passionate in particular about the Fullblood Limousin?
Well, that's real easy. I can always talk Limousin. So my ranch I bought from my grandparents. It was established in 1929, and my grandfather was a dairyman. So I've got a old grade C dairy barn here. When my former husband retired from the Marine Corps, we bought my grandparents' farm. We purchased a handful of commercial cows and needed a really good bull. So we started looking around, looked at everything. We looked at Cedar, we looked at Brahma, we looked at Angus, we looked at Beefmaster, Charolais, everything. And I found a woman that lived in Grove Spring that had K2 Limousin. Her name was Kathy Knott. I went up and looked at her bulls. She had Limousin. And after looking at every breed out there, I found two Limousin that I absolutely fell in love with. They were just beautiful. Just had the conformation, the muscling, the temperament, everything I liked in these. So instead of buying one, I bought two. And I gave one to my dad, and I kept the other one. Their names was Butch and Sundance. Our first calf crop was really good. We were very happy with that. Slowly, I started going to a few sales and looking more at Limousin. At that time, it was purebred Limousin. So I purchased a head from Kingdom City. BLC had a dispersal, and I bought 8 head, brought them back, used that bull for a while, and of course my next calf crop was even better. A few years went by. There was Oak Meadows Limousin down in LaGrange, Texas, and I should have never gone down there. There was just, for me, there was no comparison between what I had at home and the full bloods that they were offering. It was like, oh, I don't know. It's like I just found heaven. So I bought 8 off of Lyle Crate, got them home, sold some of my purebreds, and started raising full bloods, slowly getting rid of the purebred and having the full bloods. And that's what my foundation heard was. So over time, all breeders, everyone wants to do better every year, or your taste gets refined. What you liked last year, you might not like this year, or maybe the calves that you're having don't really represent what you want. So
right.
I started looking online at Limousin. That's when computers in the late 90s, they started having more and more tantalizing things on the web about Limousin cattle. And then I started seeing the cattle overseas, particularly France, Ireland. And I did a little inquiry on some bulls that I liked online. And as it turns out, it was just around the time that they were having the foot and mouth disease there. So the bull that I picked out, the people that Helen and Stephen Illingworth, they've got Glenrock Limousin. They could not send the bull that I wanted, but they had another bull named Marquis. And I thought I was doing great getting 10 straws Marquis. Well, as it turned out, I brought 3 of their bulls over and started selling some semen for them. And I had 2 Marquis daughters, really appreciated them. They weren't quite as deep as I wanted them to be, but their cattle there are not as deep as ours. So I didn't really pursue that a lot. I just wasn't what I thought I would get. But I kept looking. So what I did was I kept looking for the bull for what I wanted to add that with my cows. So I did a little trip over actually, because I imported the first semen or the first embryos from the UK, the Queen was kind enough to pay round trip tickets to the UK for my husband and myself.
Wow.
We got to see the Royal. We got to go to some of the shows over there, meet a few of the breeders. We stayed with Helen and Stephen, and they were so gracious. Took us all over to meet people and to do farm visits. So I eventually found those bulls that I like. I've been able to continue going over there every year or 2 years and seeing progeny from those bulls before I bring those bulls over, knowing that they have the F94L gene, that they don't have the NT or the Q gene, that kind of their myostatin genes that they have over there, just certain standards that I want. But they display that beautiful breed characteristics of the copper color and the cream around the eyes and the underpinning, and they're thick. They're deep bodied, but they've got nice bone on them. My program now is really focused toward the polled UK genetics and doing very well with my customers desiring that, actually calling me up and saying that's what we want. We want Limousin that look like Limousin. They want that red muscled animal.
That classic.
Yeah. So now I'm getting more, there's 3 bulls that I've collected that I sell. Balfour, Gitmo Balfour, 08B, Gitmo Isle of Skye 19J, and Cedar Creek or CCRA Kahlua 560. And I'm getting a lot of calls from the commercial industry, where there's more commercial people that are calling saying, we want that bull. We want the muscling in our animals again. So I'm really happy that the more commercial guys are contacting me for those genetics.
You have customers from all over the world that come to you.
I do, and I love that. I sold 100 straws down to South Africa, which I was so excited because it was South Africa. I need to have a map with the little pinpoints in it. Because
you really do. Nice. You can put it on your wall.
Yeah, I could have had that behind me, right?
Yes.
But I've sold semen in, of course, Canada and Australia.
I think you just had a progeny out of Australia, baby, right?
I did. I had Nathan Brown just had his first little Skye heifer, and he's thrilled with her. One of the nice things, though, Ashley, even though there are people they're all over, and some of them I've not met personally, they stay in touch with me. I've not had one person text me or call me or write me any form that says I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied with what I got. And that speaks volumes to me. And They send me pictures of their progeny. I just got a picture the other day of a woman. She's got a heifer that they're showing, and it's Balfour's first heifer. And they took her to an outing in, I think, Queensland. And she said she was the youngest, so she was stood fourth in her class because she was the youngest. She said, however, the judge commented on how docile she was and that to continue with her. And she said just the fact that the young girl showed her and that, she walked nice for her and she was well behaved and everything. She said that's success. And she said, we're going to keep working with her in her next class. Maybe she'll be older and stand better.
Right.
But that's the first calf out of him that's being shown. And I would love to go down there. I would love to go 24 hours away, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. But, there's people in Germany, Croatia, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Northern Ireland, Scotland, England. I actually have calves in France. I can't get the semen in there, but I've had people that want the semen. Over there, it's different than here. Here, we can order semen and it comes straight to your farm. Over there,
Right.
go through someone that handles it for them. They have to accept it. So there was a guy that wanted it so bad that he went to Germany and bought a bull, one of Balfour's bulls. So someone from France went all the way to Germany to get a Balfour bull. And then there was a guy that drove all the way to Italy to get a heifer. So I do have 2 progeny in France out of Balfour. So they're just all over the world, and I love it.
Yeah, and that is awesome. And I think that really speaks to how, just kind of like you said, about getting your herd better and better each year, each generation of calving season. You know what you're looking for, and you're just continually working to refine that. And the sense of pride you get in, seeing the pictures and hearing about the shows.
Just knowing that somebody's happy, that they're satisfied with that it gives them a fulfillment of doing what they want to do with those genetics. It's so important for me. I mean, that's what it's all about, whether it's, you with your sending, one of your calves off to another ranch that she produces something, that they're proud of. And that's what it's all about for me.
You were talking about the relationships you build, and you might not have met people in person, but I think that's kind of one of the stories. I like to think of it as like the Limousin connection, because, and everyone has their preferences about specifics and all that, but I think everyone in the industry shares in common just the love for the breed.
All of my Limousin family.
Yeah, it really is. And you might have people that you only see once a year at certain shows, and it's just like you've never missed out,
It is a common connection, a common ground for everybody, whether you have full blood, purebred, Limflex, whatever you're raising. It is that thread that binds everybody together.
Right, I agree. And Betty, when did you get involved and how with the Limousin Lions, the Fullblood Limousin Lions?
Well, I was at a sale at Canadian Valley in Oklahoma in 2006. Cattle that were coming in, you always have your your best cattle that come in and start the show. You get those high bidders right there.
Yep.
There, and then everything kind of settles down and you're able to really bid or look at what you want. The full bloods there were some full bloods that came in the ring that I thought, man, they were good, and they should have gone. I felt like they should have gone higher than what they did. I was talking with the woman I was with, was Connie Crockett. They have Crockett Rose Branch. Carlos Combs out, and his wife. We were all sitting there, and I said, guys, we need to do something to promote our full blood genetics, because in my opinion, those cows should have gone for better. They should have been marketed. Someone needs to be doing something to promote full blood genetics, because they're a dying breed. It was actually, in my opinion, they were a dying breed. They were full bloods, and that's all they looked at them. So I got back home and I called Connie and I called Ms. Combs and I said, can you help me? And they were like, what do you want to do? And I said, anybody that that has full bloods, that's interested in full blood cattle, I'm going to schedule a meeting. Let's have a meeting. Let's see who wants to do what. Let's just have a meeting. So I scheduled a meeting at the Marriott in Springfield. And I just told everybody to check their egos at the door, that we were here to promote full blood cattle. I don't want to hear who had what, how much money anybody had, or we're here. This is all about the cattle. That's it.
Right. As it should be.
We formed the alliance, and that was, I think we did our constitution and bylaws on my grandfather's birthday, which was February 8, 2006. And Carlos was the president that year, and I was vice president, and Connie was the secretary. And we grew from there. We had our first show. I wrote the board letter that Carlos took to out to nationals in January, and I petitioned them to let us have our own show, that we were an organization now, and that you can't show apples and oranges. It's showing our Limousin is like showing them against a Brahma, and they're not the same.
Right.
Their characteristics aren't the same. Their conformation isn't the same, even though all cattle basically have the same conformation. They have 4 legs, they have skeletal, a head, whatever, but they're different. Ken Holloway agreed at that time that he would let me have our own show at nationals, and I was thrilled. We had our first show down at the nationals in Lawton, and I actually had grand champion with CCRA Semper Fi. He was Pole Liberty's son, massive bull. And I'll never forget when I was walking in, the guys at Express Ranches, Donnie was his name. And when I walked Semper Fi by him, his head turned and he said, "Now that's a Limousin." And I remember just feeling so proud, that someone like that just acknowledged my bull. And
Right.
have just kept working since then. And I've been president, vice president, a board member, and I'm currently serving as president again, and doing my pre-SAR, our membership, and continue promoting full-blood genetics within the breed.
Yeah, and you guys, you do a great job of promoting that. I do admire how much you do that. And I speaking of shows, I believe it was just last month that you guys had your annual show, and I think that you have the national grand champion bull Martini and the reserve on the heifer, right?
Reserve on the heifer. I was really pleased with the heifer because she's a Nathan. That's a French bull that I purchased from Winfield Park. And Martini surprised me. So he is out of my grand bull from last year, actually. He was only 9 months old. But when he walked in the ring, the judge went, "Oh my goodness, look here." And he said he's wide and he is as thick from the front as he is to the back, and legs under him to support all that. And I love being able to hear what the judge is saying. Sometimes you get in that ring and you don't, everything just kind of echoes out and you're so focused on your animal. But when you can hear what the judge is saying, that opinion means a lot. And he really did appreciate him.
Did I see that he wasn't part of the original plans? And how did you get him ready so fast is my question. What's your trick? What is your trick?
Well, there was no trick. It was a desperation because I'm so competitive that there was no way I was not taking a bull to compete and just letting someone else walk away with that honor. Mahomes had a little mishap. And so I just went to my wing pen and I looked around and I said, "You're it." And he was a shabby looking thing. He had horns, which I probably never would have showed him because he had horns.
Right.
But he was everything that the judge said he was. He's squared up in the rear end. He's got great muscle. He's thick. He's got depth. His conformation, his legs are on all 4 corners. And he's got a great disposition. And so I pulled him out of the wing pen. I took him to the vet the next day. I had him dehorned. I had a ring put in his nose. And I put a halter on him actually right after he got dehorned, because I couldn't catch him then. Anyway, brought him home. My son got a hold of him and brought food, and we drug him into the barn and tied him. And he just kept coming in every day. And I'm telling you, that little boy walked in the ring like he owned his stuff. I mean, he was like, this is mine. And I was so proud of him. I was so proud of him. So that's how that happened. And it was 2 weeks.
That's crazy. That's very impressive.
Months getting animals ready. And here it was just 2 weeks. So
Do you travel to Arkansas?
do I travel? I travel everywhere. I travel. Do you need something? So we have got a guy coming up from South Arkansas here in the next 2 weeks. He's from Mount Vernon. So yeah. Well, you know my story. I worked for the state of Arkansas for almost 30 years. So
yeah, which is awesome.
but I wish you did live closer if that's what you mean. So I do farm visits.
And seeing that's just a very impressive story. I guess he wanted to show you that he could live up to being that pick out there in the ring last minute.
He could have gone to the sale barn real quickly, over those horns, but he had other intentions, I think.
One of the things that I've also noticed about you, I really enjoy following your Cedar Creek Ranch page, and you're really good about posting, and you have beautiful pics of your cattle too. And then also you promote eating Limousin too. So thank you for that. I love seeing your meals. It always makes me hungry.
Someone asked me, how do you cook? And I said, I have to eat.
But no, I think you're the real deal, and I enjoy talking with you, and I enjoy just all the levels of how you do represent and promote the breed, and you're a busy lady. But can you tell everybody what's kind of coming up down the pipeline for the Fullblood Association and how they can get more info and be a part of that?
I sure can. So we have a website, www.fullbloodlimousinalliance.com. You can go on there and download a membership application. It's open to everybody. We also have an official ranch page on Facebook. The Alliance right now will be having their next meeting in October, or actually it's going to be in September, because Stephen Haynes will be having his foundation sale. People will be consigning full-blood cattle to that sale. So if anyone's looking to infuse some full-blood genetics into their herd and bring their percentages up a little bit, they certainly will do the job for you. The sale is on September 20th in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And then we'll be having our elections come January. We have our national meeting in January. So there's no more shows. That's it for this year. Just the get together out there at Bowling Green is always nice because we're a national organization. So like now, we have members from the East Coast, West Coast, North and South. We actually have a Canadian breeder, John Post, that sits on our board, because I'd like to bring more interaction between Canada, because they're face very similar issues that breeders here, full-blood breeders in the United States do. So it's always strength in numbers. So, having our meeting out east allows people from the East Coast. There's a lot of breeders in West Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida that are full-blood breeders, so they're able to come to Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's not so far for them, and come into the meeting and meet us and greet us and get to know us. So we like to move our meetings around all over the United States.
Yeah, and I think it's just so nice. I know everybody's so busy, and especially when you're talking about, nationwide, but it is still so nice to get together when you're able, and because we all share the same struggles, the same goals, and just to get together and have some good old-fashioned fun, I think.
Absolutely. And no one turns that down, do they? I don't. I know that's for sure.
I don't know of anyone either, Betty. I just want to say thank you once again, Betty, for joining me. And I've enjoyed talking to you and learning a little bit about your story.
Well, thank you for having me. I applaud you for what you're doing and getting this out for the world to see and to learn about Limousin.
I think the more that we can all work together and promote, that's just going to be for the positive for the whole breed.
Absolutely. So. Go
Yes. Thank you again, Betty.
You're welcome.